What's going on? Thank you. Thank you.
How you doing there, little brother?
Oh, I'm all right, big brother.
I'm Steve. This is my younger brother, Robert. We're coming at you with a little bit of common sense.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. A lot more than what's going on today everywhere else.
Well, what do you think about what's going down in Texas?
Ooh, Texas. First story. Awesome.
It's the video capturing a robbery inside a Houston taco shop, ending in gunfire. Not by the suspect, seen here holding what appeared to be a handgun, but this man, an armed customer who fatally shot the suspected robber. Houston police say they've now spoken with the customer, who shot the masked man multiple times inside a local taqueria. It started when police say the man walked inside, then demanded money from more than half a dozen patrons. But video shows as the man walks towards the door, a customer opens fire, watching the gunman collapse, then walking over and firing more shots at point-blank range. Police saying after consulting with the Harris County District Attorney, the case is now being referred to a grand jury, raising the question of whether this was self-defense.
The initial shots appear unquestionably justified under Texas's self-defense law. However, you get into a gray area as the attacker flees and the shooter seems to track him down. And the argument would be that as the robber is laying there on the ground, he didn't pose a threat warranting deadly force. But a defendant could argue a number of different things, such as you don't know for sure if any of your bullets hit, or maybe even the robber is playing possum, or he may jump up and shoot.
Police say upon retrieving the stolen cash, the shooter returned it to customers. Then the man realizes the weapon used for the robbery wasn't even a working gun.
The fact that this gun that the alleged robber had ended up not even being real has no effect here.
For purposes of self-defense, as long as it reasonably appeared to be a firearm, that's enough of a threat of deadly force to justify deadly force in return.
Police confirmed the deceased masked man was 30-year-old Eugene Washington of Houston. The identity of the shooter has not been released since that man hasn't been charged.
All right, Morgan Chesky joins us now live from Dallas. Morgan, a lot going on with that video, a lot going on with this case. The gun, as you mentioned, that the robber had was reported as fake, but the man who fired his weapon had no idea that was the case. Is he going to be in any type of legal trouble, or is this a classic stand your ground case? I know you were talking about this with Danny.
Right, Tom, experts say it's a classic stand your ground or self-defense case up until a certain point. Now, the fact that this gun wasn't real is not that important because at the time in which this crime was being perpetrated, it appeared to be a working firearm. And experts say that the gray area comes with those multiple shots that were fired after that suspect went down, as it appeared he was retreating from the crime scene inside that taco shop. That is what this grand jury is going to be scrutinizing in the days ahead when it comes to this particular case.
I'm overwhelmed. I am.
That news clip coming to us from NBC News Now. So, Bobby, what do you think of that?
Well, I think it's completely justified. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it was a fake gun. The threat was there.
Threat was there, but what if the grand jury decides to bring charges up on him?
Well, he'd have a huge what's the word I'm looking for?
Defense?
Yeah, you could say he'd have a huge defense of getting off on that. Because I mean, look at you have police officers, right? There's kids that are on the street holding fake guns that look completely real. You know,
sure.
They shoot the kid and they're completely justified. So what is the difference between a private citizen?
Think about the impact, though, that it would have politically and publicly if the grand jury did actually bring charges up on the shooter.
Oh, right. There'd be riots and it would be BLM stuff all over again because did you notice he was the only white guy in that whole restaurant?
Yeah, but I think this is more of a gun issue than a race
It's
issue.
it's
The
everything.
mainstream media may paint it out to be.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
However, I think more people are coming forward with common sense than they did 4 years ago, 2 years ago, even.
Where? I don't see it. I don't see it.
I think publicly you're getting more YouTubers on. You're getting more feedback, pushback on such things as the false um, political push or narratives that are being presented by the news media, such as the
Mainstream
insane.
media mainstream media doesn't care about YouTubers' common sense. They could give
No, not at all. But at the same time, YouTubers do seem to have a pretty big voice.
oh yeah, they do, but to the
Look
people
at
that watch
look
mm,
at the fan support. I mean, you have podcasters like uh, Tim Pool,
mhm.
okay, that Timcast thing, great. And he was a leftist or more leaning left. He's kind of swung a little bit more to uh, the middle or even more conservative.
I'd say he's more conservative than mid. Well, okay, the tide shifted over the past 6 years of what's middle. Okay, the
Sure,
right has become the middle.
sure,
The
and even
left is just far, far gone. They're gone.
supreme. There's a supreme push for insanity over on that left.
Hmm.
And you always get the rebuttal. Well, there's crazy people on the right side too. Well, not even close. Not as close to the level that they are on the left.
Right.
Most of the
Mhm.
people on the right are working. They don't have time to go out and riot.
Right. Right.
And
We
when they
don't
do,
need.
what happens?
Hmm.
They peacefully protest in Washington
No,
D.C.
no, you can't say anything about that. I can't say it on YouTube, but that'll get flagged.
Isn't it a peaceful protest?
Uh, yeah, they have the left has peaceful protests that just include fires but they could classify them as campfires, and they were singing "Kumbaya," you know, But as soon
Nice.
as some right wing
Weren't the
people are escorted into a building, that becomes a riot.
weren't the damages with some of those peaceful protests done by the left getting into billions of dollars?
Oh, it surpassed billions of dollars. Yeah, it's
It's
yeah. You're talking just.
I wish I had the numbers right here on that, but that's just insane.
Are you talking about the total cost
Oh yeah,
throughout the whole U.S.?
and how many lives were lost? I mean,
Yeah,
there were people losing their lives trying to protect what they had.
I think in Seattle it was over billions of dollars. You're not talking. Now you're talking the whole U.S. Man, that
Hmm.
was a whole summer of riots.
And
I
weren't
mean,
there a couple
peaceful
of kids that
protests.
lost their lives then?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And
It
who
just
lost their lives on January 6th?
one individual woman,
A Republican.
a soldier.
Yeah, a patriot.
Um, yeah, sad
Hmm.
day.
Oh yeah.
But one
Oh,
other
but
narrative that, yeah, go ahead.
oh no. I was gonna say main takeaway of that of the Texas shooter. You know, they can argue too. You don't know what he was gonna do after he left. He could have went to the next cafe and robbed and killed somebody there.
Absolutely,
You know.
completely agree. I do also believe that everybody should be walking around with a gun.
Hmm.
Completely.
You mean a pew pew? Can't.
Yeah, pew pew. Sorry, pew pew.
This is
That way,
YouTube. Come on.
yeah. Because I mean, that way you're gonna see a big decrease in crime.
All right. If you
Everybody's gonna second guess what they were doing.
if you're a criminal and you walk up to a group of people and you know they don't have a gun, well, you're good to go.
Oh
But
man,
if the thought's in your mind that, oh shit, one of these guys is armed here, you ain't
I
gonna
just
do it.
what do you think? What do you think would seriously happen would the right riot if this shooter ends up having to face charges?
The right doesn't riot. Like you said before, we ain't got time for that.
I know, it's sad.
I know, and all the times we should take control of the Second Amendment, we don't, because
Well,
again, nobody has time for that. Like we got work to do, we got bills to pay. We don't have time to go out.
well, here's a question for you. The Constitution words the Second Amendment that the rights should not be infringed upon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Government
Oh.
is constantly infringing on it. And
Mm-hmm.
look what happened down in Illinois this past week. You're aware of that, right?
What are you talking about?
Where they were pushing to ban more assault weapons.
Oh yeah, that passed, didn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, that's infringement. The Second Amendment doesn't tell you which kind of
They're gonna end up
firearms you can have.
they're gonna end up throwing people in jail.
If it was up to me, we could have machine pew pews,
Tanks.
tanks, whatever, whatever the government has, we should have.
We should be equal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying we should have the nukes,
Well, right.
but still,
Wouldn't hurt.
it's kind of scary.
Yep. All right.
That kind of brings us to another narrative that's going on here, and it's been going on for years.
Which is
feminism. Gotta love it, right?
ugliness.
Oh man.
All that's going through my mind right now is purple hair or shaved heads.
Cartoons?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
They are cartoons. We could just call them cartoons. Actually, you know what? Instead of saying feminists, why don't we refer to them on this show as cartoon characters?
Cartoon characters.
Yeah.
The man-hating cartoon characters.
Mm-hmm. Some of them are self-men hating cartoon characters.
You know, the sad thing is there's so many women that have been lied to. Completely. Told that they can have everything. Just put off having kids, put off having a family. Go ahead and do that in your 30s, 40s, you know. But they never tell these women that they're going to hit a wall and that the mistakes and the choices, I better not call them a mistake, but the choices that they end up making in their early 20s will come back and haunt them. Many of them will not have kids. Many of them will not have a husband.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do have a husband, it's going to be a weak man.
A soy boy.
A simp.
Mm-hmm.
Simply put, a simp.
Not to mention, a lot of these women peak in their 20s, and by their 30s, they're just... they ain't worth looking at.
Wow.
Hey, common sense and facts. That's what we do here.
Well, it is true. I mean, who's to blame? Starts with their parents.
Mm-hmm.
Parents lied to a lot of them, telling them that they were princesses.
Well, then you got...
They can't do any kind of wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had a lot of...
school system.
Yep.
The school system, I think, is the biggest problem.
Yeah, but okay. A lot of these girls are raised by college-bound parents. Okay.
Are you talking about girls or cartoon characters?
The cartoon characters.
Okay.
Well, actually, let's back up. They are girls before they become cartoon characters. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is born with the cartoon character type of mentality that's embedded into them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I have to say it like that. Okay, so you have a girl is raised by her parents. She goes off to school, is being told you can be anything you want. She comes home, daddy's calling her his little princess. She can never do any kind of wrong. Women have zero accountability for the mistakes and the choices that they make. I'm calling it a mistake. I made up my mind. We're gonna go that way.
You're committed now.
I am committed. I mean, okay.
We're
They
gonna
get
be
into their
committed to
20s.
Facebook and YouTube jail.
Yeah, well, probably. They get into their 20s, they're mad as all hell at the boys around them. They hate everything that males do. They think they're superior to males in every which way, and it's all because of this feminism narrative that is being embedded into them.
Mm-hmm.
And even if women can kind of avoid that, there's still society has still stuck some fraction of that mentality into them. No man wants an argumentative woman. That doesn't mean they want a weak-minded woman. They want a woman that can share her opinion, but he doesn't want to come home from work with her nagging, arguing, and just giving him hell.
Right.
I mean,
You,
what's the saying? Her job is to make him hard, not a harder life,
oh boy. Yep.
right?
Yep.
I mean, that's
Well, right, and you're talking about like a boss bitch, right?
yeah, that
Yeah.
boss babe or whatever you
The
want to call it,
boss babe. No,
boss babe.
usually they're not babes at all. They're
Biatch.
oh boy. Yep. Yeah. No. I don't know. The feminism is just ruining this country, and it brought down a lot of men with it too.
Well,
There's no masculinity anymore, and being masculine is a bad thing now in the eyes of what 70 some percent of Gen Zers, which uh, classify themselves as feminists.
yeah, I think we've lost a couple generations.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with the first wave of feminism.
You're a long time ago, sure.
Right, right.
But
Now,
even that was not pressed upon the public by women.
right.
That was pressed by the men.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I
Absolutely.
I got into a conversation about a week and a half ago. I had a that washer dryer I had delivered to my house.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys that was delivering it, we were talking for a little bit, and he brings up the fall because he was a black guy. Brings up the fall of black culture and the family black culture, started by LBJ, bringing in the
Mm-hmm.
welfare systems, the whole scale of dual parented uh, kids went in reverse. It was
Mm-hmm.
at one point like what was it like 70-80% almost
Right.
were married or had the mother and the father in the home, and now it's down to like 20s.
Yeah, but that in that first decade, it dropped to in the I think low 30% within that first decade.
And why? Women were selling out their men for a couple $100.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
ridiculous.
The
But yet
boss.
they blame, but yet, well, right. And yet they blame their men for not living up to their standard.
Right.
What did you want? The country was rolling, the country was moving forward. It may not have been perfect in race relations back then, but we weren't going to change everything overnight.
Right.
Things were improving historically,
Mm-hmm.
and just wow, just like that, it was all wiped out.
Yep. Well, it's the government. It all started with the government.
Sure.
Yep. Boss bitches are the government's babies.
Well, they want women to believe in the feminism movement so they can tax them.
This isn't the feminism movement, though.
As far as what part?
As far as every part, as far as the man hating, all it is man hating, and that we don't need men. You know, we can take care of ourselves, but the fact is, they're not taking care of themselves. They're having the government take care of them, which is ironically ran by mostly men. So
Oh
yes,
man.
you do need men in your life,
You mean men, the ones that built the country, built
right?
the world?
Right. The ones that carry the sperm that are needed to make babies. We don't need them.
Well, women women their purpose is so overlooked and unrespected. So it's very easy to manipulate them to get them to believe that they have a completely different purpose.
Mm-hmm. A
They're
very
supposed to be men.
yeah. Yep. Well, some of them look like men. A lot of them feminists or cartoon
You
characters
mean because they stress themselves out?
because they shave their heads and they tape down
Well,
their boobs. And they
it's kind of funny. There was, God, where was that? There was a report that came out a little bit ago. I want to say about 6-7 months ago. Man, I really wish I knew where that was. We can probably look it up. Conservatives are better looking than um, the the liberals.
I was just gonna look it up, but that's common sense right there. You could go look at any conservative newscaster who's a woman, and then compare them to who does the left have? What's that chick's name? Um, uh, on
Like what?
On CNN.
CNN.
Yeah. Oh man, she
The
lost
the
her.
guy looking chick.
Yeah. What's her name?
Which one?
Mad Cow. Yeah, Mad Cow. Mad Cow. Yeah, that's her name. Um,
Okay.
yeah, no, that's a liberal newscaster. Any, I'd say not any, probably half of the liberal newscasting women are just butt ugly. They're butt ugly.
Oh man.
But
Well,
then you got pretty much over 75% of the female conservative ones that they look good.
okay, but I do think a lot of that is uh self endowed, how should we say?
They probably are well endowed.
Well, no, self endowed. Because I mean, it's put on them basically by themselves. They stress themselves out over the most ludicrous stuff. They hate everything. And let's be real, when you stress yourself out, things happen to your body that are not healthy.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
I just
Well, it's getting triggered all the time, is what you're saying. They constantly get, yep,
emotionally upset.
like they break down in tears when Hillary Clinton doesn't win a presidency. Oh my God. All right. Well, I think
Yeah,
I think we could wrap this episode up.
okay.
All right. Well, I think this was a pretty good first episode.
Not bad.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments section.
Hopefully we improve over time for you.
Heck yeah. We plan on being around for a while.
You guys
So,
have a good night.
all right. Peace.
Later.